Hello everyone, Charles Watts here, the Arsenal correspondent at Goal, joining you for another one of my videos as we count down the days of the transfer window. 6 to go now for Arsenal and a lot of work still to be done in North London. First of all, as always on one of these videos, just a quick message to thank you for all your support and your views and your new subscribers. And if you're just stumbling across this channel and you haven't seen it before, as I said, my name's Charles Watts. I'm the Arsenal correspondent at Goal, cover Arsenal home and away, up and down the country, all around. And I try on this channel, as well as on goal.com and on my social media feeds, just to keep you as updated as I possibly can on all things Arsenal and take you behind the scenes when I can on what it's like covering Arsenal as a journalist. Obviously, last night's game, kind of covered it in my player ratings video that I did after the match. Thought I'd just quickly run through that and what I thought of it. I thought Arsenal were okay. Look, they're playing a very, very good team. They're playing the best team we've seen in this country for a long, long time. Some may say the best team ever to play in the Premier League. I'm not so sure about that. But a very, very good team nonetheless. Far better than Arsenal right now. Far further down the line in terms of their project and development than Arsenal are right now. Mikel Arteta admitted that after the game himself when he said Liverpool are on a different journey to Arsenal and that said they would never have been able to play that way 2 or 3 years ago, and he's right. And Arsenal just starting off on their journey under Arteta, and that's the sort of bar, that's where they want to get to, is where Liverpool are now. It's a long way off, and we saw that last night. Arsenal have certainly improved under Mikel Arteta, there's no doubt about that, but they need to take the next couple of steps on if they really want to progress and start competing. Maybe not getting beyond the best teams in England, but certainly competing with the best teams in England. By that I mean Liverpool and Manchester City. And as we saw at Anfield, look, they're some way off. I thought they gave it a good go. They stuck in the game, which is something they haven't always done at Anfield, but they did stick in the game right up until the last couple of minutes yesterday. And had Laka taken that chance when he went through, which he should have taken, or should at least done a lot better with, then it would have been 2-2, 20 minutes to go, and who knows how the game could have unfolded. So they did show more than they usually do at Anfield, and I think that has to be a positive. Hector Bellerin, speaking after the match, said as much, and I agreed with what Hector had to say about the performance and just about how Arsenal are evolving under Arteta. So I'm not going to sit here and cry over a defeat at Anfield. Look, Liverpool haven't lost at home in the league since 2017. They're an absolute machine, best team in the country by a distance. So you can't sit here and complain that Arsenal have just lost to them at Anfield. Maybe you wanted to have seen a little bit more from Arsenal in an attacking sense. You know, I think Arteta got it wrong with his team selection. I think Ceballos should have started, and when Ceballos came on, showed the difference that he made. He was one who set out Lacazette. So maybe Arteta could have done more, could have chosen a better team, but I still think Arsenal were in for a tough time, whoever they picked to play against Liverpool. And I don't think they deserve to get really heavily criticised for the performance. But the fact that I wrote a piece about it, I'll put it in the description below. I wrote a piece about it that went out on Goal this morning, sort of looking at that game and what it meant and what it showed. And what it did show for me is that Arsenal, if they want to start competing with the best, they've got 6 days now to really have a go in terms of being able to compete with the best, and they need investment, they need to spend, they need to bring in a couple of midfielders, because the midfield once again was the big issue yesterday. Look, the fact that El Nenny's starting, and I'm not digging out on anything because I thought he played all right yesterday. I thought he's played all right all season. He was tidy, did his job well, but he's a limited player. He's not top class. The fact that he was deemed surplus to requirements not that long ago, and now is starting in a midfield against Liverpool at Anfield, kind of says where Arsenal are right now when it comes to midfield. They need more. They need to get a couple of top quality players in, not squad players, first 11 players who are going to come in and make that midfield their own. And that's what they need to do in these next 6 days. We know who they're trying to get, and if they can get those two players, if Aouar arrives, if Partey arrives, you know, that is a completely different Arsenal team that you're looking at. It's a Partey sitting in front of the defence brings real drive, he brings dynamism. He's not just this big midfield enforcer that everyone thinks he is, who's going to sit there and purely protect the defence. He gets forward, he breaks through the lines, drives forward, he gets up in support of the attack from every now and again. You know, he's really come on since he's been at Atletico Madrid. And I think you put him in there, and then you have the creative energy, quality of Aouar in the either 10 role or number 8 role. Probably be more of a number 8 role, because I think if Arteta can manage to get those two players in, then we'll see Arsenal going 4-3-3 right now rather than the 3-4-3 that we're seeing, which is certainly making Arsenal more compact and harder to beat, but it's it's limiting them a little bit in terms of being expressive going forward. And I think long-term Arteta certainly would want to see 4-3-3 as his formation. But he can't do it at the moment because he doesn't have the midfield options. But if he could get those two players in, then it certainly will improve his midfield options and allow him to play the formation he wants. And I think if you can get three players in the central midfield, then the Arsenal are going to have an awful lot more of the ball, which they're not having at the moment. They're relying on counter-attacks. And look, it's working. It helped them win the FA Cup playing in that tactic. But long-term, Arsenal need more than that. They need to get a foothold of the game in the centre midfield. They need to get on the ball more. They need to dominate more. They need to cause more teams problems through the central areas. And if you add Partey and Aouar to that mix, then they're certainly going to do that. Now, it's 6 days to go. It's going to be incredibly difficult for Arsenal. It's a really challenging market. They've struggled all year long to get players out of the club, which would really help them in terms of bringing in players. It's really only Emi Martinez has gone. They've obviously got Mkhitaryan off the wage bill as well, but only got some transfer fee in for Emi Martinez. Right now, they would have loved to be in this position going into the final days of the window, having managed to get rid of Guendouzi, having managed to get rid of Torreira, Shokran Mustafi, Socrates, but they haven't. They're all still here. They're all still on the wage bill, and no money has come in for them, and that represents a major problem for Arsenal. And that is why this market right now, right towards the end of it, is proving challenging, but they are trying. Interesting developments at Lyon today with in terms of incomings at Lyon, not so much outgoings, not so much directly involving Aouar, but certainly potentially affecting him and affecting Arsenal's chances of getting Aouar, because they have signed, or in the process of signing, I think let me get his name right. I'll probably get the pronunciation wrong and you'd all call me up on it. But Lucas Paquetá, the Brazilian who's been at AC Milan, he is now heading to Lyon for about 20 million euros. Deal not completely signed and delivered just yet, but according to reports in Italy, Goal Italy are reporting it, Fabrizio Romano's reporting it, everyone's reporting it, that Paquetá is now very, very close to being a Lyon player. Now, he is seen as a Houssem Aouar replacement. So if they're bringing him in to add to their attacking midfield options, then that could certainly help Arsenal in terms of getting Aouar out. Now, nothing's been agreed between Arsenal and Lyon just yet. Lyon still want more from Arsenal. Jean-Michel Aulas, we've seen his negotiating skills, his very public negotiating skills, and how he plays things in the transfer market. He said of Arsenal's offer, he said, this was speaking of Canal Plus, there was a timid offer. We felt like either they didn't consider the fact that this is a player in the French national team. It was not an offer that was even susceptible to making us consider a sale. So no deal as yet for Houssem Aouar and Jean-Michel Aulas, making that very clear. Now, Arsenal obviously are still hoping to get Aouar. It just depends on how much they go back with a new bid and whether Lyon accept it. I mean, talks between the two clubs by now that have been ongoing, Arsenal should be well aware of the sort of fee that Lyon are willing to accept for Aouar. So you would hope at this stage, with 6 days to go for the window, when they do go back, they're not going to go back in with another sort of lowball offer and annoy Lyon even more. And they need to make some sort of bid that's going to be acceptable. You'd hope they would do that. You'd hope the talks between the two clubs that have been going on have made it clear in their minds what they need to do to get Aouar. And you just know how important it is for Mikel Arteta. I mean, Mikel Arteta spoke about the game yesterday. He was asked about transfers. He said, we don't have any news on new players. It's a week to go, and I think it's going to be really busy for the clubs because not much business has been done. Let's see what happens. I think it will be really busy for the Premier League. I don't know for us how it's going to happen. So Mikel Arteta, they're not really bringing too many positive vibes to the discussion when talked about transfers. I know a lot of fans looked at those comments and were disappointed by them, but you've got to remember Mikel Arteta, as I've said before on here, and as you see in press conferences, he keeps things very, very close to his chest when it comes to transfers. So I wouldn't fret just yet, but certainly the clock is ticking on Arsenal, and they're going to need to get something done and need to get something done relatively quickly if they want to get at least one of their two top targets in Houssem Aouar and Thomas Partey. It seems, as we stand at the moment, it's closer with Aouar than Partey, but as has always been the case with Partey, Arsenal know exactly what they have to do. It doesn't matter when they do it, but they know what they have to do, and that's trigger that release clause. 50 million euros gets Thomas Partey. Atletico Madrid have made that very clear, and as I've said before, from people that I know who are close to the Partey side of things, that will not, should that release clause be triggered, then it's very, very likely that he will become an Arsenal player because he is keen on a move to England, Premier League and Arsenal. Right, that's about it for today. Just wanted to go on, have a little bit of a chat about the Liverpool game and just an update on where we are in terms of the two potential big incomings. So thank you very much for joining me once again, everyone. Enjoy, well, looking outside, enjoy the last few days potentially of some sunshine, and I shall speak to you all very, very soon.